So after the 1899 Constitution or the Malolos Constitution, we have now the 1935 Constitution. So review lang natin. In 1901, Aguinaldo was captured by the American in Palanan, Isabela. So that is why Americans ruled the Philippines from 1901 or even in 1899 until 1946. Okay? So, hindi naman sa 1946, I think 1941 kasi nga in 1941, we have the Japanese occupation who colonized the Philippines as well. So, from the year 1901 to 1935, we were colonized or we were governed by the Americans. So, during that time, there is an act known as the Jones Act of 1916. And this act of 1916, or also known as the Jones Act, is a very important role, has a very important role in our own Philippine independence. So, the meaning of Jones Act is to give independent sovereignty for their own colonies. It is not only for the Philippines, however, for the different colonies of America. Okay? So, coming from the Jones Act of 1916, there is a condition that they must follow. Before a certain colony will become independent from the mother colonizer, known as the Americans, it must be prepared to become independent as a nation. Kasi nga, many of the colonies of Americas were colonized by different colonizers. Like for example, Philippines, we were colonized by Spain. So that is why America believed that these countries were these colonies were are not yet prepared to become independent. That is why they need to train these colonies to become independent. For the case of the Philippines, we have the Commonwealth, di ba? And then of course, during the 1934, they have been creating draft of the 1935 Constitution wherein within this constitution ang nakalagay dito, the main purpose here of this constitution is it is a 10-year transition from the French to American model. Why? Remember, our own constitution before was based from Spain. And the Spanish constitution was also based from France or French. And what is that constitution? It's known as the Cadiz Constitution. And that Cadiz Constitution, or the main purpose of that constitution creates a government that is a monarchical constitution. Okay, when you say monarchical constitution, or what is monarchy then? There is the King of Spain. Meaning, lahat ng powers or the head of the government will be the king. Okay? So during the colonization here of the Spaniards, even though the mother Spain has its own different colonies all around the globe, all of those colonies, ang leader nila ay hindi si Governor General who are ruling that certain colony. Because all of the colonies must bow down to the King of Spain. So that is the constitution that was introduced to us by the Spaniards. And the Spain or Spaniards adopted that constitution coming from French, di ba? However, when Americans came here in the Philippines, so they now replaced the French constitution with an American model. And that American model is more democratic. It is a republican wherein the people are the ones who vote for their own leaders. Kasi nga, ang monarchical natin, it is royal blood. Meaning, you can only become or you can only succeed a certain position. Like for example, the King of Spain, namatay ang king, ang susunod sa line is we have the prince or yung mga anak niya. 'Di ba? So that is for monarchy. However, for American or democratic or republican, it is not based from the royal blood. Yeah? Okay? It is based from who will the people choose among the candidates who will run for that certain election. Okay? So that is for American. Kaya nga democratic. When you say democratic, padamihan. Sinong majority na magvo-vote sa isang tao. It's like the same with the Malolos Constitution who has a popular vote. Okay? And however, when this 1935 Constitution is started on 1935, matatapos sana siya by 1945. Of course, we all know nagkaroon tayo ng World War II. And and of course, World War II took effect on December 8, 1941 nung dumating ang mga Japanese here in the Philippines. So what happened during that time was uh, the 1935 Constitution was abrupted. Meaning, hindi ito natuloy. Kasi nga, the Japanese occupation came here in the capital of Manila and of course replaced the current government who is running the Commonwealth, known as the Manuel Quezon. Di ba? Sila Manuel Quezon during that time. So, nagkaroon ng isang puppet government or Japanese-sponsored puppet government. And and that government is also known as Kalibapi. And that Kalibapi, also known as Kapisanan sa paglilingkod ng bagong Pilipinas, headed by Recto during that time. So he was the president during the Japanese occupation during that time. So that is for the 1935 Constitution. However, of course, nagkaroon naman tayo ng independence on July 4, 1946 kasi nga the Japanese were defeated by the Allies or the Allied power, I mean. So, naibalik yung sovereignty sa atin. So, 1946, July 4, we were given now the independence, I mean. Okay? So, for the 1935 Constitution, the following salient features here are the following. Of course, number one, it is for still parang the same pa rin siya sa ating Malolos Constitution. It is a democratic and then republican. Okay? The same with American Constitution. And of course, for the term of the presidency, it is 4 years subject with re-election and even vice president. And the same, if you are 21-year-old, you may now vote to choose your own leader. So those are the following salient features under the 1935 Constitution. However, noong 1943 natin, nung we were colonized here by the Japanese, nagkaroon ng isang constitution as known as the 1943 Constitution. However, that 1943 Constitution now being practiced with the Kalibapi or created by the Kalibapi or the Japanese occupation is a short-lived constitution. Meaning, it only operated from 1943 to 1945 kasi nga, it is not supported by Americans kasi magkaaway Japan and then Americans, di ba? During the World War II. And then, it is not supported by Filipinos. So, even though you have a constitution, or parang ganito lang yan, even though you have a law that you have created, if the people do not follow, then the law is useless at all. It is nothing. Kasi nga, a law is created for the people to follow. And if the people does not or do not follow the law, then therefore it is useless. So, ganun ang nangyari during that time. Okay? So here are the following salient features of the 1935 Constitution. So first one, it is a bicameral legislature composed of the Senate and House of Representatives. So therefore, it is the same with the 1987 Constitution, which we are still practicing nowadays. So for the House of Representatives, it is composed of congressmen, came from different provinces as well. It's not only provinces, we have highly urbanized cities. Like for example, here in Baguio City, it is a highly urbanized city. So that is why we have a congressman here who will represent us coming from the House of Representatives. For the House of Representatives, it is composed of around, for now, it's I think it's around 300 members. So coming from those 300 members, majority of those members were congressmen. Of course, when we say congressmen, these are elected officials who came from the different provinces of the Philippines. And aside from congressmen, another composition of the House of Representatives is we have yung mga house political parties natin. Like for example, Kalinga Party, NUP Party, Liberal Party, and we have a lot of parties. I think we have 100 parties ata. So, as long as that they have garnered at least 3% of votes coming from the previous election, they're given a seat on the House of Representatives. So, another member here of on the lower house is we have yung mga tinatawag na natin na NGOs, or they are the non-governmental organizations. So, hindi naman sila private. However, they are organizations who are one of the most important aspect of the society. Like for example, meron tayong organization for women, my organization for children, for farmers. So they are as well members of this house or on the lower house. Kaya madami sila as the members on the lower house. However, the majority of the members here under the lower house ay we have yung mga congressmen natin. Okay, so after there, we have the Senate, known as the upper house, and of course, still we are practicing this one. Kasi if you try to look on the 1987 Constitution, madaming magkakapareho on the 1935 Constitution then. So of course, for the Senate, it is composed of 24 senators, wherein the main function of the senators are to create laws and then yan, to approve laws which will come from the House of Representatives. Kasi nga, as part of the process, magsisimula yan sa lower house. Pagkatapos sa lower house, tataas kay Senate and it will be signed by the President. After that one, it will be reviewed by the Judiciary Branch. Okay. So next here, next feature of the 1935 Constitution is we have the president is elected to a four-year term together with vice president subject to re-election. So meaning of that, a certain president or a vice president could be elected for a maximum of 8 years. Okay? So like for example, nanalo ka sa nung 2016. So you will serve from 2016 to 2020. And then if you will run again for next election by 2020, nanalo ka ulit, mag-serve ka na naman from 2020 to 2024. So all in all, you have served for 8 years, from 2016 to 2024. If you are going to apply the 1935 Constitution, di ba? However, for 1987, hindi na ganon. For 1987, a president or a vice president is given I mean, the president is only given a 1 year, one term, which is equivalent for 6 years. So once you have elected as the president, you cannot anymore run for re-election as the president. Okay, so that is for the 1987 Constitution. Another example here of 1935 Constitution, the only president who was re-elected, I mean, during the use of the 1935 Constitution is we have the former president Ferdinand Marcos. Remember, Ferdinand Marcos won on 1965 election and then nag-serve siya from the first term of Marcos during that time was from 1965 until 1969. And then he ran again for re-election for 1969. Maybe fortunately he won the election. And then from 1971, he declared the martial law na before his second and last term will be expired by 1972. So yan, another example ng ating president who was re-elected with the use of the 1935 Constitution. Okay, so number 3 here is the rights of suffrage. When you say suffrage here, it is the right of the person to vote. When you say vote, meaning you can choose whoever candidate you would like to represent you in the government. Like for example, you vote for the president. Si Duterte ang vinote mo. So, ibig sabihin, since you voted for Duterte, you expectedly that Duterte will represent your own will. Diba? Or like for example, binoto mo yung ibang candidates of the president before. Like for example, Binay. Diba? Sila Santiago, nung buhay pa si Santiago. And Marojas. Because you believe that those candidates will represent you in the government. Diba? And of course, rights of suffrage by the male citizens of the Philippines who are 21 years of age or over and are able to read and write. So, meaning of niyan, the people are given now the right to vote for their own representatives or politicians on the government who will represent their own will in the government. However, this right of suffrage is only limited with males. Okay? Na 21 years old. Diba? However, in 1987 Constitution natin, that is a different story naman. Kasi, for the right of suffrage here for the 1987 Constitution, ang nangyari na dyan, of course, it's not only limited for male, but it is for females and then males. However, kailangan mag-register ng isang citizen, whether you are a male or a female, and at least aging 18 years old. Diba? Before you're able to vote for a certain person. So, yaan naman yung third na salient feature natin. And then number three, extension of the right of suffrage to women within 2 years after the adoption of Constitution. Yes, on 1935, it was implemented. However, they have chosen their own leaders. However, they also reclassify or they modify the 1935 Constitution by extending the right of suffrage to women. Kasi nga, women or have a very large number of population considering the men. Because the population during that time, I think the ratio there is 1:1. Meaning, hindi pa nga, parang I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1:1.3. Ayun ang ratio nila. So, in other words, medyo mas madaming babae noon kaysa sa lalaki noon. Okay? So, nangyari dyan, considering that the population of the Philippines is more on women, kasi nga, we have women empowerment na. Because we all know that in our own history, not only here in the Philippines, together with the world, of course, women are not given the rights, di ba, to vote. However, because of women empowerment, women are still humans. They are people as well. So, binigyan na rin sila ng right to vote. In the case of the Philippines, they were given on 1937. Okay? So, of course, from 1935 to 1945 sana, wala pang magboboto dyan. Kasi nga, it is a transitional government na binigay ng Amerika or also known as the Commonwealth Government where it was ruled by Manuel Quezon from 1935. Yun nga lang, medyo na-disrupt ito during the Japanese occupation. So, yan. These are the salient features of the 1935 Constitution. Okay? Okay, so now let's fast forward coming from the 1935-1973 naman tayo. And 1973 Constitution was created during the time of Ferdinand Marcos. So before we proceed on the features of the 1973 Constitution, let's review muna who created, why it was created, and how it was created. Okay, so of course, we all know that our President Marcos was elected on 1965. So the first term of Marcos was from 1965 until to 1969. So he served for his first term. And then from 1969, he ran again for re-election, and maybe fortunately or unfortunately, he won his own re-election. So from 1969 to 1973, that will be the second and last term of Marcos. However, in 1972, Ferdinand Marcos convene a constitutional convention who will create another constitution. Okay? And coming from that constitutional convention, in the society or among or under the Marcos regime, the society during that time, there were a lot of insurgencies that are happening in our own country. When you say insurgencies, there are different, hindi naman to tinatawag na terrorism attack. However, these are some organizations who are against the implementation of the rules and regulation being implemented by the government. Meaning, sila yung mga taong ayaw sumunod sa batas ng mga gobyerno. Remember, if you are under a certain nation, a government is ruling that nation. So therefore, as a citizen or as the people of that nation or a state, you need to follow the rules and regulations of the state. 'Di ba? Kasi nga, the government must maintain peace and order. However, in order for the government to maintain that peace and order, he must or it must create and implement laws that will maintain that peace and order. So therefore, if a certain people have committed a crime or who are not following the laws of the nation or the laws of the state, they will be penalized. So yun ang insurgencies natin. These are organizations or these are a group of people who are against or who do not follow, who are against the rules and regulations being implemented by the government. And of course, as part of the government, that is a sickness in the country. Why it is a sickness? Remember, what if you saw different people who are not following different traffic rules and regulation? Ano mangyayari? Ha? And you are if you are the police officer and you have seen some different drivers who are committing traffic violations and you're doing nothing. Remember, may isang batas. No parking, sabi niya, along this road. And you are the police enforcer. And then, nakita mo, madaming nagpa-park pa rin. So, there is a law, but you're neglecting your own function to apprehend these violators. So, what will happen? The law will become useless. Kasi nga, the law is created for the people to follow. And if the people will not follow, what will happen to the law? It will become useless. So, ganon ang pag-iisip ni Ferdinand Marcos. If the people will not anymore follow, what is the law? And how to maintain peace and order if the people do not know how to follow the rules and regulations of a certain nation. Okay, so anong ginawa ni Ferdinand Marcos? In order to maintain peace and order in the society, he proclaimed martial law. So, according to Marcos, the main purpose of him dictating or proclaiming that there must be a martial law is to stop the insurgency because he believed that these insurgencies are the cancer of the society and the country or the nation itself. Through the use of martial law, he could use or maximize the power of the military and then the police in order to stop these insurgencies to maintain peace and order. So that is why in September 23, 1972, President Marcos proclaimed the martial law. Diba? So, after he proclaimed the martial law, sabi ko nga, he could convene a certain body or constitutional convention that will create a new constitution that will replace now the old constitution, which is the 1935 constitution. So, different drafts were made from 1972 and then until such time, it took effect on 1973. Kaya nga tinatawag siya as the 1973 Constitution. Okay? So, that is a short background how it was created and what is the purpose for creating the 1973 Constitution. Okay? So now, let's move on the salient features of the 1973 Constitution. First one, of course, it was led by the President Ferdinand Marcos during that time. And the main purpose of the 1973 Constitution is mainly to give more power for the government, to modify some of the conditions that is different from the 1935 Constitution. Like for example, meron na tayong martial law. And until such time ba mapapractice ang martial law? Kasi according to 1935 Constitution, a certain president may proclaim martial law if there is insurgency in the country. However, that is only limited for specified span of time. So ginawa niya, naging unlimited yung time ng martial law as long as that there is insurgency. Kaya tumagal yung martial law for how many years, di ba? Ngayon, ang nangyari, ang next dito ay, of course, Ferdinand Marcos now proclaimed the martial law and from Republican, 1935 is the Republican government and from 1973, it is now the parliamentary government. Now, let us discuss now what is the difference between a Republican government and parliamentary government. So, here from Republican, we have the president, we have the vice president, we have the House of the Senate or the National Assembly, whether it is a unicameral or a bicameral, meaning the people will vote for those positions. Okay? If someone is running for president, the people will vote for whoever president they would like to vote. Vice president, the people will vote. The Senate, the people will vote. House of Representatives, the people will vote. So that is Republican, meaning the people has the power to vote or to choose their own representatives coming from all of the positions or elected positions in the government. However, for parliamentary type of government, that is not the case. Okay? The people for parliamentary will only vote for their own representatives. They will not vote for the president. They will not vote for a prime minister or even a vice president. For parliamentary type of government, the people will now choose their own representatives in the government. And there is a body known as the Assembly or the National Assembly. So, it could be unicameral or bicameral. So, ang gagawin nila, iboboto lang nila ang isang congressman or isang senator who will represent their own will in the government. And if the people are done voting for their own representative in the government, magkakaroon ng isang prime minister. And that prime minister will become the head of the state. When I say the head of the state, he has the most powerful position in the government. And who will vote for them? Is it the people under the parliamentary? No, it is not. Diba? Because the prime minister will be voted by the representatives that you have voted. Nagets nyo ba? Prime Minister will be voted by the representatives that you have voted. So meaning, you are not the one who will vote for your own Prime Minister. It is the representatives that you voted who will choose among themselves that will come from the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister will come from the Assembly or the Parliament itself. So yun ang difference ng Republican from Parliament. So during the 1973 until the 1986 and 1985, what happened there was Ferdinand Marcos was the prime minister during that time. And almost all of the things that were created, the laws that they were created during his term, actually dumaan lahat sa kanya. Parang siya lahat ang gumawa ng mga batas during that time. Because we all know is a very intelligent and powerful person. He knows how to go on the law, how to create the law, how to practice the law. Okay? And another thing here, another feature here of the 1973 Constitution, the National Assembly has their own 6-year term and unlimited re-election. Okay. So, coming from 4 years na term, naging 6-year term na at unlimited na yung re-election. Kasi alam dito, based on my theory, alam dito ni Marcos that the members of the National Assembly are his own colleagues. Now, ganito kasi nangyayari pag there is only a limited amount of time na you could serve or you could practice your own term. Ganito mangyayari. Of course, meron kang partido sa National Assembly. They are your own colleagues. However, they have 6-year term and then pag naalis sila, wala na. Diba? So, pag naalis sila, there will be no more support to be given by your own colleagues. Ang mangyayari, kung sino nag-replace sa position nila, sometimes magso-support sa'yo or it might become an opposition to your own decision making. So, as much as possible, maka-stay yung mga colleagues ni Marcos during that time. So, that is why they made that there is an unlimited re-election. So, those are the following functions or salient features of the 1973 Constitution. Okay? So, we have last but not the least, and we have the 1987 Constitution. And for the information of everyone, still, this is the Constitution that we are practicing nowadays. Okay? So, based again sa history natin, why it was created, when it was created, of course, we all know that on 1986, there was a transitional constitution known as the Freedom Constitution. During the 1986, there was a rally that is being called by the people as the EDSA People Power 1, wherein the people gathered in the streets of EDSA and rally to remove our former President Marcos. And many believe that rally is not the will of the Filipino people. Now, The question is why. You try to look the population of the EDSA People Power 1 and you compare to the total population of the Filipinos during that time. Okay, so based on the statistics, how many Filipinos live during that time? It is around 40 to 50 million, 40 to 60 million Filipinos. And how many people run in EDSA? That is around I think 10,000 people. I know, 10,000 to 30,000 people who rallied on EDSA. And you try to get the ratio or you try to get the percentage of those, let us say, kahit sabihin mo ng 100,000 pa sila, and you compare that 100,000 people who are rallying on EDSA compared with the 40 to 60 million people. Wala pa ngang 1%. Di ba? So, therefore, many historians and people, hindi ako pro Marcos I'm only telling about the facts. That they believe that EDSA people power is not representing about the Filipino people, or it does not represent the will of the Filipino people. Okay? However, during the 1986 EDSA or People Power 1, anong nangyari? Of course, napatalsik we have Ferdinand Marcos. Anong nangyari? So, hindi siya naman uwi. I mean, nag-airplane siya together with his family going to Hawaii. So, what happened there? Nabakantihan ang ating Philippine government or ang ating Malacanang. Ang nangyari, of course, ang pumalit would be the late wife, the wife of Benigno Aquino, known as Corazon Aquino. So, during that 1986, the main purpose here naman of Corazon Aquino is he would like to change all of the things, all of the abuses na ginawa ni Marcos. So, ang ginawa niya, he actually modified, hindi naman lahat, kadamihan ng 1973 Constitution. But for your information, many of the provisions of the 1987 Constitution is most likely copied from the 1935 Constitution. So, parang American model din siya, actually. Yun nga lang, tinanggal niya ang mga rights, mga martial law, all of those things. Kasi nga, people were people suffered coming from, of course, the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. And from the 1986, they ratified that one, they modified again, finalized it, and became the 1987 Constitution that we are now practicing until today. Okay? So here are the following salient features of the 1987 Constitution. Number one, of course, it was initiated by Corazon Aquino. And number two, it is mainly created human rights. Specifically, we have Article 3, Bill of Rights there. Kasi nga, people suffered from martial law. People were captured daw without any warrant, all of those things. So, dito, they have specified more rights for humans. Sabi nga, kaya nga human rights under Article 3 of the Philippine Constitution, known as the Bill of Rights, di ba? And then here, furthermore, meron tayong 3 independent branches of the government. Remember, in the 1973 Constitution, we have a parliamentary. And again, it was changed into a republican, wherein the Philippine government now is divided into 3 branches known as the executive, legislative, and then the judiciary. Wherein, coming from this, they have their own powers and they may check and balances, meaning hindi pwede na mag-abuse ng isang branch or a certain branch cannot abuse its own power. There are checks and balances. For very good example of the checks and balances is how do we create a bill or how do we create a law, I mean. So, a bill is a draft law na magi-start sa Congress natin. So, anything created by the Congress will not become final until such time it will be signed by the President coming from the executive branch, and it will be reviewed by the judiciary or the Supreme Court whether the law is constitutional or unconstitutional. So, that is one of the examples when you say checks and balances. So, one branch is not abusing its power over the other. Okay? And of course, number four, there are three constitutional commissions that has been created. Namely, we have the Commission on Civil Service, uh, COA, Commission on Audit, and then last would be the Commission on Election or the COMELEC. So, ibig sabihin, itong mga these commissions cannot be removed or hindi pwedeng ma-dissolve itong mga commissions na to until such time the 1987 Constitution will be modified. Because some of the departments, like for example, mga DILG natin, DOLE natin, DPWH, DOH, pwede kasi yang tanggalin pag hindi na kailangan ng tao. Even without modifying the Constitution. However, for the constitutional commissions, yung sinabi ko kanina, COA, COMELEC, Civil Service, these commissions cannot be dissolved without modifying the Constitution. And for your information, grabe or hindi ganun kadali ang pag-modify or pagpalit ng isang constitution. Remember, that is the highest or the supreme law of the land or of the state. And it may take a lot of process for a constitution to be replaced, modified, or changed. Okay? So those are the things under the 1987 Constitution.